Good morning and welcome. Good morning and welcome. Happy Easter. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of York. My name is Reverend Christin Green. I'm your minister and I use she, her pronouns. Today is a very special day. Spring has officially sprung. Easter morning has arrived, whether we celebrate it or not, and we are blessed by this gathering of souls as a liberal, religious faith community. Families with children and youth, we are so happy to have you today. Today is intergenerational, so all children and youth are invited to remain here in our sanctuary with their families for the entire service. Our nursery downstairs is always available, as is our lobby, where you can still hear and see the service. Afterwards today, we'll be able to get something yummy to eat and drink before we go outside and hunt for hidden eggs all over our grounds. Make sure to note some other announcements on the backside of your order of service, including information for first-time visitors. We are delighted to have you with us today. I want to mention that the composer of the Requiem that we're about to hear, Eliza Gilkyson, wrote this piece in response to the Asian tsunami of 2004 in hopes that it would be an invocation of compassion and be received as a prayer and comfort. I invite you to join me in taking a collective breath as we center ourselves for worship and receive the blessing of the musical gifts of our choir this morning. On this Easter morning, just as we do every Sunday morning, we Unitarian Universalists light a flaming chalice as a symbol of our living tradition. Reverend Joel Miller's words guide our hearts and minds as we enter into this time of worship. We all know loss and pain. Let none of it divide us. In the rising sun today, let us do together what we cannot do alone. Roll away the stones that close our hearts. Please rise now in body or in spirit to join in singing hymn number 1000, Morning Has Come.
Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. New day dawns, once more the gift is new. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace here shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Even on a joyful day, we have many things that weigh on our hearts. So we carve out time each week for that purpose, to share and reflect on the challenges and struggles that we endure in this life on earth. To guide our thoughts in this time of meditation and prayer, I offer words entitled Life Breaks Through by Tess Baumberger. Life breaks through. Time and time again, life breaks through what seems like death. Even in the heart of winter, light breaks through. Life breaks through. Unseen growth occurs beneath the frozen ground. Some plants need winter in order to flower in spring. Life breaks through even through old stone. Laurel trees have the strength to break through stone to sustain their fragrant, vibrant lives. Life breaks through. Even seemingly frail lives can survive in the harshest circumstances. Life is abundant and strong. It thrives in unusual places, even in the desert. Life shines through thresholds, even the threshold of death. It blooms and grows and changes through the stream of time. Life breaks through walls we build to keep it out and escapes prisons meant to keep life in. Life breaks through, shines through the world all around us. life breaks through in us as well, in the forms of faith, hope, love, and joy. Life breaks through again and again, so we celebrate Easter, the triumph of life over death, of goodness over wrongdoing, and of love over hatred and intolerance. Life breaks through. You may remain seated to join in singing hymn number 18, What Wondrous Love Is This?
Love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away
What a wondrous day it is to be together, oh my soul. The title of today's message is Easter Morning Blessings, because I believe that the Easter story can be a blessing to all of us, seekers of truth, hope, faith, and love. While most of us may have come to reject literal readings of the Easter story, we may find ourselves surprised by a stirring within us for rebirth, fresh starts, and new life. We may turn to nature as a worthy parallel metaphor of life, death, and rebirth, which also appeals to our sense of reason. Reverend Lisa Day reminds us that reason tells us that life precedes death and death itself is final. But our experience of second chances, cures, recovery, forgiveness, and reconciliation tell a different story. Even when life as we have known it is destroyed forever and hope has seemingly abandoned us, somehow life has held us and breathed us into new being. Life has called us to rise in fullness, triumphant, humble, grateful. There's a special blessing in Easter morning for all of us. What can we, as Unitarian Universalists, do with the story of a literal resurrection? One longtime UU, Heidi Cottam, wonders if we might believe. Believe in what? Well, the good news is that is up to each of us individually because we are a people who choose. But I also know that we are a faith with roots in Judeo-Christian tradition and one that draws from many sources, including the ancient scripture texts for inspiration and wisdom. So to figure out what we might be ready to believe in, I'd like to revisit the Easter story. Last week, we heard about the arrival of Jesus in Jerusalem when the crowds laid down their garments and palm branches on the ground as he rode in on a humble donkey. While Jesus was in Jerusalem, he visited the temple, and he could see that it had become a marketplace. This story may be familiar to many of you, as it is one of the only accounts of Jesus showing anger. So maybe we can relate to the man Jesus in this moment. In the book of Matthew, we read that Jesus drove out all who were selling and buying in the temple, and he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. He said to them, "It is written, 'My house shall be called a house of prayer,' but you are making it a den of robbers." This condemnation, not to mention the table flipping, did not sit well with the people in power. But Jesus didn't stop there. He spent the next few days challenging the scribes and Pharisees, the religious leaders and scholars of biblical law. This kind of confrontation did not sit well with these people in power either. The Romans who governed Jerusalem had become very concerned with Jesus. Many citizens were treating him like they did kings. And again, the people in power were anxious about a rebellion brewing. On Thursday evening, while the Jewish observance of Passover began, Jesus gathered with his 12 disciples for a ritual Seder meal. They shared wine and unleavened bread, and Jesus spoke to his disciples about the coming hours and what they might bring. He told them that he would be betrayed by one of his friends, by one of them. After dinner, Jesus and his disciples went to sit together and pray in the garden, and only a few hours later, Jesus was arrested and put on trial the same night. And the next day, Jesus was tortured and executed by the state, just as the sun set. Episcopal priest turned self-identified spiritual contrarian Barbara Brown Taylor wrote, "One of the many things this story tells us is that Jesus was not brought down by atheism and anarchy. He was brought down by law and order allied with religion, which is always a deadly mix. Beware of those who claim to know the mind of God and who are prepared to use force, if necessary, to make others conform. Beware those who cannot tell God's will from their own." At a time such as this, as we witness the deadly mix of Christian nationalism at play in our country, I don't know about you, but I need a message of hope right about now. But don't worry, hope is coming. I haven't finished the story. Back to the ancient story. Because the Sabbath started at sundown as Jesus died, and Jewish law did not allow burial on a Sabbath day, he could not be buried right away. So Jesus' body was placed in a tomb for retrieval after the Sabbath had ended. The state, suspicious that Jesus' disciples might try to steal the body overnight and claim that he had resurrected, ordered that a massive stone be set in front of the tomb and guards be stationed there. On Sunday morning, women who knew and loved Jesus, including Mary Magdalene, went to the tomb to prepare the body for burial. When they arrived, the guards had left. The stone was unexpectedly rolled away from the entry, and when they looked inside, they saw nothing. Jesus' body was gone. Reverend Molly Hausch Gordon reflects on these scriptural accounts of Jesus' death and notes that the earliest telling of the story ends in bewilderment for the women of the story and for the reader alike. Trembling and bewildered, the women went out and fled from the tomb. They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. Could Jesus really rise again? Could it be that the violence of empire and the pain of loss would be denied the final word? In that ancient telling, because there are 4 in the book, we don't get a clear answer. There's really no resolution. There's no certainty. There's only a seed of complicated hope and the persistence of human love to help it grow. A seed of complicated hope and the persistence of human love to help it grow. Unitarian Universalist faith is really faith without certainty in much other than the power of love and the possibility of transformation. Our value of pluralism calls us to forage these ancient stories for wisdom and guidance as we navigate our present realities. Reverend Gordon says that what strikes her about this ancient text is that it was not only Jesus who rose up that morning, it was also the women who loved him, who rose up from the pit of their grief to tend to him. It was also the movement that his teaching sparked, a community who rose up to spread his message of power in weakness and the victory of love. Is new life possible? Is love stronger even than death? The question itself invites us to rise up and to live as though it were true, to make it true in our living. The lesson for the women, for the forces of empire, for us is this: you can crush love. You can bury it. You can cover it over, but it will still rise. It will reach for the sun, and we will reach for each other. Love will have the final word, even if that word is a question, or a wild possibility, or a whisper to rise and follow wherever it may lead. Communities formed and nurtured in love will rise for and with each other again and again. If we've learned nothing else these years, it is this: even when everything is uncertain, even when we're grieving, even when the loss keeps coming, even when we're forced apart, even when we are bone weary, we keep reaching for one another. And we keep rising in love. That is what the story of the resurrection offers us: hope, rising in love. Hate and betrayal do not and will not prevail, says the resurrection. Hope will be restored. Lives will be restored. We will emerge from the bleakest of absolutes to exist on in the glory of love. So to revisit the question posed earlier, what do we do with a story of a literal resurrection? Believe in hope Believe in love, believe in justice, believe in transformation, in restoration, and maybe even resurrection. I close today with a poem written by Jan Richardson entitled A Blessing for Holy Saturday, The Art of Enduring. This blessing can wait as long as you can, longer. This blessing began eons ago and knows the art of enduring. This blessing has passed through ages and generations, witnessed the turning of centuries, weathered the spiraling of history. This blessing is in no rush. This blessing will plant itself by your door. This blessing will keep vigil and chant prayers. This blessing will bring a friend for company. This blessing will pack a lunch and a thermos for coffee. This blessing will bide its time until it hears the beginning of breath, the stirring of limbs, the stretching, reaching, rising of what had lain dead in you and is ready to return. Dear ones, may whatever has been buried in our spirits be invited to rise in new life as our very own Easter morning blessing. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. I now invite you to rise in body or in spirit to join in singing hymn number 266, Now the Green Blade Riseth.
Now the green blade rises from the buried grain. We abandon dark earth, many days have lain. Love once again, that with the dead has been. Love is come again, like meat that springeth green. In the grave lay him, loved by angels slain, thinking yet that never he would wake again. Laid in the earth, like rain that sleeps unseen. Love is come again, like meat that springeth green. When our hearts are wintry, grieving o'er in pain, love's touch calls us back to life again. Fields of our hearts, that dead and bare have been. Love is come again, like meat that springeth green.
Hear ye, hear ye.
We've come to the time in our service where we practice generosity as we collect our weekly offering. Each week, we commit to share our offering collection with the community organization that upholds our values. Our Share the Plate partner for April is Glow Harrisburg, a community resource for queer and trans people of color in the Harrisburg area. Glow is one of the LGBT Center of Central PA's newest initiatives. Glow fosters inclusive communities and holistic well-being for LGBTQ+ people through social, educational, and cultural engagement. As your ushers collect the offering and come forward, if this is your first time visiting, please feel free to let the basket pass. Your presence is our gift today.
We also invite you, as you might have noticed the words to our offertory hymn. If you'd like to join us, you might recognize this old, traditional, Victorian.
have to say thank you to Gretchen for bringing that inclusive language version to us. I can only share from my own experience that growing up with that song stirred a familiar comfort in my heart, but hearing the different language as expansive and open, and recognizing the different names and faces and manifestations of the God of our understanding, the love of our understanding, that we can even encounter those moments to tarry together in our garden, perhaps after this service, and find such joy. Thank you. It's time for us to extinguish our chalice, or your home chalices if you have lit them, with the words printed in your order of service that remind us, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. In these last several weeks during the Christian observance of Lent, fasting, the Orthodox believers also sometimes abstain from saying or singing Alleluia, a word which comes from the Hebrew phrase that means praise God. On Easter morning, however, all the Alleluias are back. So I want to leave you with these words by Reverend Margaret Beckham. Let us raise our voices in praise for springtime, for new life from the compost of past life, for bunnies and baby chicks and colored eggs, for warmer days and flowers almost blooming, for faith and life triumph, that each passing season we are granted a fresh chance to live life to its fullest, and to share with all those we encounter the love that gives us life and that will never let us go. Blessed be. May it be so. And Alleluia. Alleluia. Please rise, would you, in body or in spirit, to join in singing 269, Lo, the Day of Days is Here.
With great exuberance on the Alleluia.
My last My last Easter blessing to you is to let you out early to enjoy the egg hunt and our refreshments and each other. Happy Easter.